Hello, everyone, and welcome to your new favorite paranormal podcast. I am your host, Kevin Leonard. With me, as always, Corey Beam, and we welcome you to the Into the Paranormal Podcast. How you doing, Corey?
I'm doing really good. I got orange soda and pizza, so I'm in a great mood. Um,
And we're back
eh,
on Zoom.
yeah, we haven't been on Zoom in a while. It's kind of um weird, actually. Truthfully.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So usually we do record, in separate locations or whatnot, but the past few episodes we have been in person. Maybe we can get back to the in-person thing soon because that was a lot of fun. But for now, Zoom works. So, hope everyone has been well since the last time we uploaded, which was been about a week or so ago as of recording this video. Um, some strange things. Strange things. I don't know why I didn't pronounce the G in that word, but some strange things have been in the news lately. So, Corey, you were just talking about that. So why don't you lead that story, sir, and then we will discuss.
Yeah, absolutely. So, new video of supposed Bigfoot. This coming from a sightseeing train. Um, not a it's not a blob squatch per se, but it's not the clearest footage, but it definitely there's something that walks a few feet in this video that's captured and gets huddles down. It's very interesting. I even had people at work bringing this up to me saying, what is that? And it's actually it's made the rounds. Um it's it's hard to say what it is, but it's definitely um you know it, it's probably
It
the
is.
yeah, it's that. It's I can't quite think of the word I'm looking for. It has
Yeah.
made an impact to a point where it's made the rounds on the, more credible news outlets. Um,
Yeah, I think I just watched it on a Fox site, I believe.
yeah,
I'll link the story down in the show notes and a link to a video where you could watch it. Either it'll either be the Fox site or the site that I just looked up or a YouTube link or something like that. So you can check it out for yourself, whether you're on YouTube or Spotify or wherever you listen to our show at. So what do you think it is, Corey? Like, after watching the video, what is your first impression?
my first impression is hoax.
Hmm.
Truthfully, I think it's a sightseeing train that goes to this area probably around the same times. Um, you, it's a very short video where you see something walk a few steps and sit basically. I it's hard for me. I don't think the people on the train possibly knew what it was. But it's too I don't know. It's definitely not definitive, and I would say probably some kind of hoax, in my opinion. It also in the video from that length is a little grainy.
Hmm.
So you can't really make out features. You'd love to see, just like in the Patterson Gimlin footage, you can kind of see muscle movement under the coat of hair. Well, you can't see that in this video, so it very well could just be a suit. And in my opinion, that's probably what it is.
Yeah, and like you said, it's a sightseeing train, and the conductor during those trips, those tours or whatever, says that we've seen unexplained footprints in the snow or the grass, or I was gonna say grass, but the ground or whatever. And so it's just kind of we now we have a Bigfoot, and them whoever the hoaxer, I guess you could call it, might not even be tied to the train tour or whatever. It might just be a person that knows the routine, the route. I guess there's only one route on a train, but the routine, the time that it goes through, and decided to, oh, I've got nothing else better to do today, and just kind of put on a ghillie suit and wandered around in the field or whatever that was, the grass and mountainside it looked like, and just to kind of mess with the people on it, which brought us this, and it's all. well and good that people do stuff like that, I guess. I mean, people are gonna people, but it just
I-
further discredits, a lot of the investigation that I'm not a Bigfoot investigator or whatnot, but they fall under the umbrella that we fall under. And it just hurts the field even more. And they not even saying that was like a person that is a Bigfoot investigator or whatever that was doing it, but they're not even in the field. But whenever something is just a known hoax, it to me it just damages the field even more because people don't take it seriously, and you can't expect everyone to take it seriously, but still, that was a long little rant.
no, yeah, but I 100% agree. I'd also say that anyone who thinks it's a good idea to dress up in a gorilla suit or a ghillie suit or anything of the such and walk around the woods pretending you're Bigfoot, you probably should also remember that there are people out there that are willing to shoot Bigfoot. Um,
Hmm.
so it could be very dangerous
Or there
to
could be
hoax
animals.
animals too. Yeah, absolutely. So if it is a hoax, I
It's a
don't know
very
why
dumb one.
it's not smart. There's a lot of danger. It's like if I were to put a bear suit on and go walking around a forest like a bear, I could get shot because
Yeah.
shoot bears. I mean, it's just not smart, and it does kind of weaken our field in general, the field of paranormal investigation, which, as you said, does include the umbrella of investigating cryptids. So,
Hmm.
um, yeah, I it you know you hate to see it, but you do see it a lot, especially with cryptids, and I guess you could even say videos of supposed spirits. You see it a lot.
Yeah.
You're going to.
Yeah. So yeah, as far as that goes, it's interesting nonetheless. I mean, we weren't there. We don't know what exactly it was. It could have been Bigfoot for all we know, but just knowing what we know, and seeing it, it does not really look genuine. I mean, the few steps that you see it take, like you said, it doesn't match up to the more harder to disprove videos and just the overall look at it. I feel like it was a little bit too camouflaged for the area as well, you
Yeah,
know?
I would definitely agree with you. There as well, it seemed to almost match its background somewhat. Um, which I mean doesn't necessarily lead to a hoax. It's just kind of hard to depict the image out of the background. But
Yeah.
and I know we didn't bring this up, but there is another video I've seen on Facebook
Hmm.
of a UFO. No, I don't know what it is. I have not done any research, but I just thought about it because I remember seeing it. Um, and a light seems to blow smoke or some kind of steam or something out in front of it into rings, and then flies through it. This was in the nighttime. It's quite interesting looking. It somewhat. I don't know if you've seen it. It somewhat looks like what those rocket launches look like at night, where the lights kind of fan out and the steam. It looks very almost jellyfish like. Um,
Hmm.
but this was not a rocket launch. So I know you haven't looked at it, so I'm just kind of throwing
Yeah.
it at you. But for anyone who out there who has seen it, comment below. Let me know what you think it is because I found it to be interesting and not easily explainable. Not like a ghillie suit. This was
Yeah.
something that could be something. And I mean, as we know, you know, extraterrestrial life has been in the news nonstop. Um, since those hearings.
Yeah. For the better part of the
So
year.
yeah,
And
so
the comment below thing that goes with both of those. If you've seen the Bigfoot video, drop us a comment. Let us know what you think. Hoax or no hoax? I mean, we want to hear from you. Let us know what
yeah,
you think.
absolutely.
Also, have you? I haven't seen this video either, but I heard someone talking about it. Have you seen or heard about the screaming sharks?
Screaming sharks.
Yeah.
Nope. That's
Yeah.
no screaming
Yeah.
sharks there. I saw something about a megalodon. No screaming sharks though.
Yeah, apparently there is sightings of, when a shark reaches the water to like get a seal or whatever they do.
Right.
Um, there's a shark that screams when it comes out of the water.
It's just having fun. It's really excited.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's,
That and the flying spiders, which were just gray spiders. I mean, they
I don't
throw
care.
their webs out. Yeah. Yeah,
No
that's
thanks.
that's horrible.
Yeah, that's
But
nightmare fluid.
yeah, it's just I guess they're on their web and they kind of just fall to get from one place or another. But
Oh,
they're
well,
gray spiders, but they're being called flying spiders. Never ever want spiders to evolve into flying insects. I would just not live on this planet anymore.
for those of you who don't know, we were stuck in a basement for like an hour due to a spider, and it was
Yeah.
blocking the stairway.
Well, that was the biggest spider I've ever seen in my life.
It
I
was.
mean,
I'll give you that. It was a large spider. I'll
yeah,
give you
and it
that
was
much.
looking at me.
Well,
That basement was terrifying because there were those jumping spiders down there.
mm, yeah, yeah.
And to this day, I have no idea why I went or agreed to go down there, or
You're.
any of us,
Yeah,
to
well,
be honest, because
so
none of us like spiders.
none of us do. I'm gonna say something I've never said on this podcast. Um, there was a knife in the wall,
And it said die.
and it said "die," and it always did.
Yeah,
Um, no one. I'm not gonna go into the backstory. You're just all the viewers are just gonna have to live with that.
yeah, it said die.
It said "die," and it was in
Yeah,
that wall. But we do. We're off the stretch of a few wonderful weekends of presentations for Kappa, which has been awesome for us. So we don't have too much coming up in the near future at the moment. We will update you if that changes. That could change. We don't know at the moment. We are in talks, but we'll go into that if
yeah.
the time if it necessitates us doing so. But we do have one thing currently set in stone, and that is March 26th. I don't have an exact time at the moment, but that will be back at the Deltona Regional Library where we were the other weekend. Um, so you can come out. It's going to be the presentation will be a little different. We're going to go into a certain subject. We'll go into more once we get closer what that is. So that'll be good. I hope the people that came out the first time come to hear us talk some more about what we love, um, and we'll make it a little different at this point as well. And of course, I think Q&A last time could have gone another hour. I mean,
Yeah.
so bring it's a ways away, but be prepared to bring um, your questions, and we'll be happy to continue to answer them. But so that's what we have on the board, but we do have some more things in talks. So hopefully we'll be able to share some news on those in the coming days and weeks.
Yeah. And if you want to book Kappa to speak at your location, just hit me up at info at kappaparanormal.com. And yeah, we'll reach back out to you and we'll get something set up. If you want us to do presentations, lectures, all that good stuff, Paranormal 101, libraries, middle schools, high schools, or whatever. Just info at kappaparanormal.com or conventions. We want to visit your convention. Uh, so let's jump in today's topic, and that is cryptids. We got a couple
Great.
of cryptids that we want to talk about, and not necessarily, your Bigfoot. We've already talked about Bigfoot today, honestly. Loch Ness Monster. We've already talked about Loch Ness Monster on the show before. Um, so let's go into some of those that you may or may not have heard about. We got a few between us, a couple that we want to kind of talk about, not necessarily at length, just kind of give a rundown and what makes them cool. Cryptids are really cool. We do specialize in paranormal investigations. When we go out on an investigation, we're looking for the cause of hauntings, but we do enjoy a good cryptid story. So that's kind of what we wanted to talk about today. Um, so yeah, you want to kick it off, Corey, sir?
Sure. Yeah, sure can. I'm going to talk
You
about, I think,
can.
yeah, I can. I'm really good at kicking things off.
Okay.
Kicking real good. But I love this first cryptid. It is the weirdest cryptid that I know of. Um, and I keep talking about it, and people keep looking it up because they don't believe me. But and it comes from mid parts of Asia, and it's called the vegetable lamb of Tartary. And so basically, it is a flower, but instead of the flower, having petals and being all pretty and cute, no, it's a lamb growing from a stem. Um, and it doesn't do anything. It just grows like a flower, and then this lamb can eat things around the flower, and then it dies. Nothing weird happens. It's not extremely spooky. It's not the you know bringing in the end times or anything. It's just it does that. It grows. It's a lamb. It eats. It dies. It's and then it rots. It's very, very strange. Um, but when I first heard what this was, I had to look it up because I was like, what? I've never heard anything like this before. This is very strange. And you think, when you think of cryptid, that's not what you think of. Um, but it's labeled as a cryptid, and there's a lot of lore surrounding it. So, um, and I was actually watching one of a lot of people that listen to this might know Ryan and Shane. I bring them up once in a while from BuzzFeed Unsolved and now Ghost Files and their channel Watcher. Um, but they were having their talking about their favorite cryptids, and the guest, Garrett Watts, who does a lot of paranormal investigation on YouTube, who's also a fun watch. That was one of his favorites, and I was like, "What the hell is that?" And he had a lot of crazy ones that I had never heard of, but that was one that caught my attention, and just going into it and looking into it, it's just very strange. Um, it's the strangest cryptid that I've ever looked into. Just a lamb growing like a flower and doing nothing special but being hooked to that plant and then dying. It's odd, but it is a cryptid, and it's one that I find oh, I just find fascinating for some reason. And it has a cool name, the vegetable lamb of Tartary. I just keep thinking of tartar sauce, I think.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's what I
re-
think about every
yeah,
time I hear it.
every time I say that. But what do you think about that?
It's weird. I remember when you brought it up the first time, and uh, and that was the first time I've ever heard of it, and that's strange. Usually, you hear about cryptids that are like from a location, and they're either like terrorizing that location in some manner, or they're seen or something, and they look scared. They have like some sort of fear factor to them. The two that I have a little bit of a fear factor to them. It's weird to hear about a cryptid that it just kind of uh, is and isn't, and just kind of does its own thing and is connected to a flower. That's weird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it
it's
is just weird.
it's
It's
and
strange.
and for anyone who's wondering what he means by the first time, this is the second attempt at this episode. We recorded it before, and if you go back to a few weeks ago, I think it's episode 13 or 12, we got dates
Yeah.
all wrong and everything screwed up because of a corrupted audio file. So this is take two on our favorite cryptids version. So hopefully audiophile is good with this one.
Yeah,
Um,
or either that, or if it's not, then I'm gonna assume that cryptids are cursed when it comes to podcasting or something, for us at least.
right. Well, Kevin, what's first on your list?
So let's take a trip across the pond, shall we, to Cornwall, England, over in the UK, where if you've heard of Mothman, they have their own version of cryptid, but it's not a moth. It's why are you giggling? They have their own version of Mothman. It is the Owl Man, and he is very similar in appearance to Mothman, except he's an owl, of course. And there's different images that you can find of him. As we're talking about these, I'm gonna try to put a visual of the cryptid that we're talking about over us in some fashion, and that way you can kind of get a visual as we're speaking. And those that are on the podcast version, we can upload them on our socials. But so the Owl Man, like I said, there's a couple of different artist impressions of Owlman. I've seen some where he doesn't have arms. He just has the wings, and obviously they're like owl wings. He has the owl head, and the ones where he does have arms, I think, are the creepiest because like his fingers are like talons. Uh, he's got like owl feet, and for some reason he's wearing a suit. But there's like stories of people seeing him, and he's known to haunt, even though it's a cryptid. Cryptids, I guess, can haunt areas, kind of stalk the areas as their home base, I guess you could say. But there's a barn over in Cornwall where he's known to hang out at and be seen at often. There was a family that saw him several times, and I think this story goes back to like the early 1800s or in the 1700s. Again, like as you said, this is our second attempt, so I'm going off of memory now. I don't have any of the notes. We come unprepared for class, or at least I did. But so the story goes back to like the 1800s. I don't think there's any recent sightings, so it might be like the Mothman, where he just comes around every so often. But whereas the Mothman, kind of when you see him, it's some sort of impending doom or tragedy is about to strike. Owlman, he's just there and he is going to, I guess, pick up your children and have a late night snack. But I think the Owlman looks really cool. I think he looks cooler than Mothman, honestly. He looks really cool. I'll throw a picture up over, like I said, and he looks pretty cool. Especially it's odd. He's wearing a suit in a lot of the images,
He's got a
but
business meeting to go to. He's got owl
yeah,
stuff. He's wise,
yeah.
you know.
Um, but and then there's also people that say that it's just a barn owl that might be large,
Large,
and
large barred owl in a suit.
yeah, well, I mean, I guess like the imagination kind of takes over at that point. Maybe somebody saw him,
Could
like a large barn owl just walking on the ground or whatever, and then I don't know where the suit would come from, but
could you?
yeah,
I
these
mean,
cryptids come from crazy stories. They have weird origin stories. That's why I like them.
the owl man sounds tame next to the flower lamb. So, right? Like
Yeah.
this sounds like something that could be based in something in reality, where
Yeah.
a lamb growing out of a flower, they
Yeah.
the people that saw it may have been on some other kinds of flower. Like
Yeah, just
that's
picture like the flower just budding open and then the lamb's face comes through.
meh,
Bah.
ah, that was a sunflower. Yeah, not so much. Yeah, right. I think the Owlman's interesting because that's not one I'd
Yeah.
really. I've heard of it, but I didn't know much about it, and I didn't know that it was a cryptid from across the pond because you don't really
Mhm.
have many. A lot of your cryptids, are like America, and you got a lot in parts of like Asia. You don't have
Yeah.
many that are Europe. There are some that are well
Yeah,
known,
there's like the Shuck,
but
Loch Ness, obviously. I
right.
mean, that the
Um,
whole European
they have
area. You got like the Shuck, the
the
Loch
the
Ness,
the oh gosh, there's a dog on
the
the
Shuck.
is that what it is?
Yeah, I believe.
Because there's the Moor, the Moor's the beast of the Moor. I don't know.
Hmm.
I had read a story, but that might be just a version of a
It
shuck.
might be another name. Also, shameless plug. If you go to www.kapaparanormal.com and go to our glossary of terms, I even threw a couple of cryptids in there, which the Shuck is in.
If you can go if here, if you can go to that page and you can tell me what a sanguinor is, and in the comments on this video, give me the definition. We'll shout you out on the next episode of Into the Paranormal.
Yeah. And segue. Today's episode is brought to you by Kappa Paranormal, the Coastal Atlantic Paranormal Association. Corey, what's Kappa? Do you know? I'll tell you. The Coastal Atlantic Paranormal Association is a paranormal research team based out of Central Florida, Southeast Georgia, and where our clients will reach out to us if you feel your home or business is haunted or you're experiencing some unexplained activity and you just want some help, you want someone to talk to, or you want a team to come in that has several years of experience in researching the paranormal and just help you know that you're not crazy and that you have someone on your side, someone that you can talk to, you can just reach out to www.kapaparanormal.com. Right on the homepage, you'll find a link that says request our help. You click on that, tell us all the details of your case. That sends the form straight to my email, and that gets replied from by Molly, our case manager. She will call you and discuss your case, and we will set something up. For Kappa, we do not charge anything for our services, research, investigations, information. All of that is completely free of charge. Um, so yeah, just hit up www.kappaparanormal.com, visit facebook.com/Kappa Paranormal, email us info@kappaparanormal.com, all that good stuff, and let us help you take back your home. As always, cases that are involving children do move at the top of our priority list, but we are equipped to investigate pretty much any type of location, personal residence or business. Kappa's got you covered.
Even
So,
big honking battleships.
yep, we've got jails, battleships, residences, antique shops, you name it, under our belt. We can do it. Um, Again, free of charge. So, Corey, what's your next cryptid?
So my next cryptid is, in my book, not only the most likely cryptid to actually exist, it is just my favorite cryptid, and that is the orang pendek, um, found in the jungle mountains of Indonesia. It is basically, you could call it a mini Bigfoot. It does a lot of the same things a Bigfoot would do, but it's about half the size or smaller. Um, monkey type, think orangutan, that kind of thing. Um, Thousands of sightings happen, and you have researchers from all over the world that have gone to Indonesia looking for this. And weirdly enough, they did recently. I don't know, probably a few years back at this point, but they did find a new species of ape in the jungles of Indonesia. These are very dense jungles um, that are hard to get into, that have not been completely looked at. Really, most of it has not been researched that well. So when you look at the amount of sightings that the native people say they have, and look at the surroundings and what kind of terrain it's in, it's very likely that something like this could be living in the jungles of Indonesia. Um, it's not even a possibility. It's almost a probability at this point. And I find that fascinating. And we have to remember that there was a time that orangutans were a cryptid. They were the lazy men. They were not something that was a scientifically proven animal species. So, um, to me, this one is the neatest because, at least in my opinion, the likelihood of it existing is very high, and that that makes it just makes it all more interesting to me. And not saying the rest aren't. I love a good Bigfoot story. Obviously, the other one I just talked about, the vegetable lambertardi, in no way do I think that is real. um, so I do not
I
think there's a
wish it
lamb.
was.
I wish that would be so. Well, it'd be weird. I don't know if it'd be cool. It'd be very strange, and life would be quite different if living things
That
grew
was in
out of.
existence.
Yeah, if like instead of a farm where there's a little barnyard, it's just lambs growing out of flowers. That would be strange. I got to go harvest my crop. I don't
I
even,
gotta go harvest my lambs.
yeah, they're ripe, good for the picking.
Yeah.
I love
I guess you get your meat and vegetables at the same
at the
time.
same time just grind it all up. Um,
Mm.
but that's I think I like both of them for very different reasons. I like um the craziness, the outlandishness of the vegetable lamb of Tartary, and I like the probability of the existence of the orang pendek. So two very different ends of the spectrum for me, um, but two of my absolute favorite cryptids.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you said, I think that one has a high probability of existing. And you even brought up the orangutan, the lazy men or red men of the forest, that were actually proven to exist. I believe all primate cryptids have a higher probability of being proven to exist than other cryptids. As much as I wish that Loch Ness could be proven, um, and stuff like that, I think that the primate cryptids have a higher probability of actually existing. So that's really good. I like that one. I like that one a lot. Um, so moving on, sort of close to us in Lee County, South Carolina, you have the lizard man. And so what was it? The lizard man of the swamp? Uh, he is just that. He is a reptilian humanoid cryptid who lives in the swamps in Lee County, South Carolina. And this one actually has a little bit of a story with it. I forget the time. Again, this is our second time recording this, so I'm gonna not remember dates or whatnot. I should have had like a notepad with stuff, but I don't because I'm unprepared. Um, there was actually a whole police report and everything uh, filed for the Lizard Man of South Carolina. There was a 17-year-old kid or young man, I guess you could say. I want to say it was like the early 90s or maybe even more recent than that. And he was driving through Lee County through the swamps or whatever, like those little back roads. And I think, had a flat tire. He broke down regardless of how it happened. And so he's out there. I want to say it was a flat tire. He changed his tire, and he and his car was attacked by the lizard man. And he jumps into his car. I think he got scratched up. He jumped into the car, and lizard man jumped on top of the car. And as he sped away, it threw him off the car. He ended up going to the police station, filing a police report, and the police or the sheriff actually drove out there to investigate. Obviously couldn't find anything, but it's really cool that it's in a police report, that it states that, oh, I was attacked by a lizard, or a reptile. And I mean, I guess there's some people that could say it could have been an alligator, you know. I don't know, maybe it was dark and he couldn't really see. It just looked like a person because it happened so fast. But yeah, and he looks like from claims, he looks like a humanoid figure standing on two legs, just has scales, has the lizard eyes, where they're slanted up and down or whatever, and sharp teeth. And he lives in the swamps in South Carolina in Lee County. And there's quite a few sightings and reports where people have seen him. Um, and I want to say they're pretty recent. But not one that I necessarily believe that actually exists. I think it would be kind of cool and frightening at the same time. And it does make me want to go to Lee County, South Carolina. Not gonna lie, I kind of want to. I want to investigate that. I want to check it out.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
I remember, I believe there was an episode of Destination Truth that they actually went looking for that very lizard
Hmm.
man. And I remember seeing some interesting evidence on that. Now, I think it looked like some lady's bumper got like
Hmm.
it was like it was crazy looking. Um,
Yeah.
so once again, yeah, I can agree with you on. I'm not sure if it exists, and if it does, I don't want to meet it. But I mean,
I would like to get video evidence of it. I don't necessarily want to
yeah,
come face to face with that one.
but it's interesting because it's kind of in between the primates and like the
Hmm.
lamb, right? It's like,
And people already think that reptilians are running the world,
all right,
so
so it's
maybe
hard
it's
to
just one
say.
of their descendants.
Who knows? Who knows?
It's what the lady saw on the plane.
That's Barack Obama's grandfather out there in Lee County,
Oh.
South Carolina. Well, I remember when he
Yeah, the
was
people say
president.
that,
People,
yeah,
there are a lot of jokes about, well, him and Hillary and
several. Yeah,
all those
but
people.
I
Anyway,
even saw
that one.
someone saying that Beyonce was a reptilian.
Hey, maybe
Hey, yeah,
that's an interesting one.
I've seen like someone said that she was. There's a lot of people that say like these either like the rich and the elite people are all
Right,
reptilians.
right. Which I mean, I'm not gonna say that's
Yeah,
completely
it's
impossible. It's I
unlikely, but
unlikely, yes. I remember an episode of the Rugrats when I was a little kid, and they were worried about the adults being lizard people, and
yeah.
so it goes. I remember that episode quite well, and so it's been a thing for a while. You know, I, all of these that we talked about, they differ in probability of actually existing wildly.
Yeah.
Uh, but cryptids are still fun to talk about, whether we think they exist or not.
So let us know down in the comments, what's your favorite cryptid? Have you
Yeah,
heard of any of these cryptids? You might have heard like the lizard man of South Carolina, but have you heard of the vegetable lamb of Tartary? Have you heard of the owl man? Uh, Let us know in the comments which one was your favorite that we discussed, and what's your favorite?
and
Have you
if
seen a cryptid?
ooh, that's a good one. And is there a cryptid you think we should talk about? We love talking cryptids. We'll talk about every cryptid.
Hmm.
Um, you know,
Even
I've
if we don't know about it, we will find out about it and then we'll talk about it.
I mean, I didn't know what the vegetable lamb was. I had to do some research on that thing. And I didn't, and to be fair, I didn't know that the orang pendek was a thing until, 5 years ago when I saw an episode of a TV show and started researching it. So, yeah, I think we have to. Oh, I do have to give a shout out to Champ up in Lake Champlain. I got to rep Vermont here where I was born. Good old Champ. Our version of the Loch Ness Monster. Probably one of the better known, or possibly the best known North American, sea lake creature. Kevin, before we go, you're from North Carolina. You're a North
Hmm.
Carolinian. What's your favorite cryptid? Is there a good cryptid on your home turf?
I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah, I think we just have like Bigfoot sightings and UFO sightings.
That's
When you were talking about Champ, I was trying to think if we have a lake or river monster.
I do remember, weren't we talking there was supposed to be something in the Albemarle Sound?
Maybe
I
the
think
what?
we
The
well,
Albemarle
don't
sound?
make me say it.
You
Don't make me do it
said it
again.
yourself.
I said it quick so I wouldn't have to pronounce every syllable. I hate that word.
Uh, Possibly. I
I
don't
mean,
I don't know.
I thought
I
the
mean,
Chesapeake Bay may have had one, but I mean that's kind of Virginia, I think. But
yeah, it's Virginia. Yeah, I really I don't think so. Um, yeah, honestly, I don't think so.
well, look,
I
well,
remember we have Bigfoot sightings and UFO sightings.
sure.
Not really anything else like that. You know, we have like your ghost lights and stuff like that,
Oh,
but
sure.
I don't think that would be a cryptid. But as far as cryptids
Unless
go,
unless Bigfoot's holding a giant light.
you never know. He's just holding a lantern.
Was
He's
that
evolved.
Pactolus light?
Yeah,
It's a Bigfoot out there holding a
yeah.
giant light. Hey, you never know.
Weirder things have happened.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair statement.
Yeah,
But yeah, please, yeah, if there's anything that you want
yeah.
to have us talk
Any of
about.
my fellow countrymen of North Carolina, can you think of any Carolinian cryptids? Because I'm drawing a blank. So if you're from a home state listening, throw it in the comments. Let me know because I can't think. I'll obviously after we stop recording, I'll Google it. But but yeah. So that's about it, man. Unless you have any questions, comments, concerns, I think that about wraps it up.
Well, I've got a lot of concerns, but nothing that I can be, dealt with on this podcast. No, and no, I just want to say, remember to please reach out to us if you'd like. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ into the paranormal. You can find me, if you want to follow my very sexy face. You can follow me on facebook.com slash Corey Beam. And please email us here at Into the Paranormal at IntoTheParanormalPod at gmail.com. We have not gotten any stories to read, and we're definitely looking for stories um, of personal paranormal experiences, even a creepy pasta or a made up fun story that you made that's to do with the paranormal. We'll read that too. We just like to have a little fun. So send us your stories at that email. That's once again into the paranormal pod at gmail.com.
All right. And you can find me on all socials at Kappa Paranormal. Um, find me on Facebook, facebook.com/ Kevin Leonard. That's, my page and all that fun stuff. Interact. It's fun. I'm not really big on Instagram and TikTok or anything like that. But yeah, all socials at Kappa Paranormal. Visit the website, kappaparanormal.com. There's a whole bunch of stuff up there that'll take me a long time to sit here and go over everything, but you can get lost in it. There's a lot of information for investigators and the haunted alike. Um, Tons of information for you guys. Uh, as I said, that about wraps it up. So, as always, I've been Kevin Leonard. That has been Corey Bean, and this has been Into the Paranormal.
Everyone out there, remember to stay spooky.